Portal the Flash version. It's a side-scroller puzzle game which makes it stand out and is unique compared to the Portal games. This Flash game does, however, still contain the Portal physics and Portal guns. The player must make his or her way through the different rooms which get harder and harder to complete in order to get to the end of the game. PewDuckPie. PewDuckPie is a game made by a fan of the most subscribed YouTuber on the internet, PewDiePie. This game is a side-scroller rage game that has a lot of enemies, traps, and obstacles that the player must get through in order to get to the end of the game. PewDuckPie's main character is PewDiePie with duck wings and feet, wearing a pink dress. Markiplier the Rage Game No Pants Edition. This game is a rage game with pixel graphics and an epilepsy warning. Markiplier the Rage Game does not have a storyline, but it does make you play as the YouTuber Markiplier on a purple stage throwing away bombs that are thrown onto the platform at random. Although this game lacks story, it does make up for it in fun gameplay. Unfair Mario. Unfair Mario is a platformer/rage game that is designed to look like the original Mario games. Unfair Mario also contains the same Mario enemies, Goombas, Bullet Bills, Koopa Troopers, etc. There are also hidden unfair traps, such as spikes, falling blocks, and ground collapsing. The Legend of Zelda: The Lost Isle. The Lost Isle is a fan-made Legend of Zelda game that runs on the original Zelda Source engine. The story is similar to Link's Awakening. The game begins as you playing as Link, who is stranded on an unknown lost island, and getting home won't be easy, as the Lost Island has a very challenging difficulty. Jacksepticeye'S Paradox. Jacksepticeye'S Paradox is a game made by a very dedicated fan of a YouTuber named Jacksepticeye. This fan-made game contains a lot of humor, references from Jacksepticeye's videos, fan-made music, and characters from Jack's videos. Pokemon Type Wild. Pokemon Type Wild is a 2D fighting game made by one of the anime's former animators. Pokemon Type Wild allows you to play as some of the original Pokemon and fight against either a computer or a friend. A downside of this game is that it's entirely in Japanese, but there are patches that people can download in order to make the writing readable. Super Smash Flash 2. A Flash game that was inspired by the game Super Smash Bros. This fan-made Flash game includes characters that were never used in Super Smash Bros. Along with ones that were. This game is tons of fun and has its own cartoon charm to it. Pokemon Generation VP. This game is yet another Pokemon fan-made game with a lot of effort put into it. Pokemon Gen VP is not yet a full game, it is only in demo mode as of now, but the gameplay is still fun. Pokemon Uranium. Pokemon Uranium is a very detailed fan-made Pokemon game, made by a very dedicated fan. Pokemon Uranium includes all new original Pokemon creatures along with new characters. This game follows the same gameplay and art style as the original Pokemon games, which makes the people who have played the games more familiar with the controls and how to play.
Hey guys, Hicham here. Today I'll be talking to you about Block and Load and how you can use the ninja class to slice and dice your way to victory. Block and Load is available on Steam to purchase and combines the sandbox building of Minecraft with the tactical team dynamics of Team Fortress 2. Block and Load has a selection of characters straight out of the box, each with their own different attributes and playstyles. There are different block types that each player can use, which take the form of materials, traps, and power-ups. Each block can be used in a variety of ways, such as bounce pads, which can be used to flap into the sky to spot enemies. You can always use respawn points to create useful spawn location during attack or defense, bumps to sabotage the enemy base, and sandbag for quick, easy cover. Once you've chosen your character and blocked in, it's time to play. Block and Load can be pretty confusing for beginners and it can take some time to understand how to properly play the game, let alone win a match, so spend some time getting to know the various blocks at your disposal. Once you're in-game, it is important to go around your base to gather resources to build up blocks and traps and form a solid defense. As Jarryd Shinobi, I usually dig a hole with a bear trap inside, then put a fake block on top so once the enemy is approached they'll fall straight in. Once you've coordinated a strategy with your teammates and done what you can with the base, it's time to choose whether you want to defend or attack. The vast majority of players will choose to defend, which is easily the more difficult of the two roles. While it can be fun, I find it becomes pretty stale after a while as you usually find yourself staring at a radar screen for enemies. Jarryd Shinobi is much better suited at attacking, so that's the role I'll focus on today. I usually focus on the middle area of the map while playing Jarryd because of the multiple ways to approach the enemy base and the different strategies I can employ which keep each game fresh. However, it's also important to remember that for every avenue of attack available to you, there's a method of counterattack available to the enemy, including and especially traps that they have set up. As a beginner, it's worth understanding Jarryd's strengths, which will allow you to succumb from a lot of these traps and tactics. While not overpowered by any means, playing Jarryd does allow for a variety of interesting strategies. A super effective one I've found is to head into the enemy base and plant bombs to destroy their blocks. You'll take damage doing this, but just before dying you can teleport back to your temple, leaving a bomb left to take care of any stragglers you haven't defeated with the katana. It's great fun and will leave your enemies scratching their heads in confusion. Just as important as knowing Jarryd's strengths however is knowing his weaknesses. The biggest threat you'll face is Eliza Doolittle, a strong defensive character who can easily counter Jarryd. Her explosive area of acid attack along with her grenades which create a damaging cloud of gas mean that it can be hard to get close enough to Eliza to damage. She can also heal herself and her teammates, meaning that any damage you do to inflict can be quickly undone. To deal with this, you'll have to be able to quickly assassinate Eliza with your bombs teleporting back towards your temple. Finally, it's important to make sure you're aware of the type of arena you'll be fighting in, as each are designed around the specific abilities and weaknesses of each character. As Jarryd, you're going to want close quarter maps rather than long range maps, as short range maps makes it much easier for you to get in and out of the enemy base as you need. You want to be careful with long range maps, as marksman characters such as Nigel Longshot will be able to snipe you as you approach the enemy base. Certain maps lean more strongly towards defense, in particular Pipe Mania, which allows teams to build plenty of cover which will make it harder for Jarryd to infiltrate. But if you choose Jarryd on a map like this, you have to be fast paced, and being everywhere in the arena to run through all the enemies attacking you, you'll have to be one-on-one ready with the enemies, trying to assassinate them and or playing sneaky objective destroying the enemy's cube. So that really should just do it for me. Now that you've learned a variety of skills and techniques which you can apply in your own games of block and load, just remember that to gather resources early, pick shorter range maps, and focus on sneak attacks and your sword while playing Jarryd. Thanks for watching guys, I'm Hicham and I hope you enjoyed this WG101 on block and load.